only technical question, not like why other questions, okay? Because we are just focused on the technical side today. And then if you have other questions like social or other question, economical, we can have other discussion another day. And then afterwards, I'm going to teach you how we can use OpenSea to make your own NFT and bring it home, probably. All right. So without further ado, let's talk about what is a blockchain. In one sentence, a blockchain is a network of computers. But we have seen a network of computers before, which call cloud, or local network. But what's the difference between this network of computers from traditional one? Well, the difference is really about the blockchain, everything, the program, the data. Once you start on blockchain, it's actually so-called replicated. It's replicating every node. So in this way, you cannot change the data and change the program easily. They become so-called immutable. It's almost like history that you cannot modify anymore. So if you consider blockchain is like another internet, basically it becomes an internet in which you cannot modify. Or you can consider it's also a database. Then basically it's a database like you can put the stuff in, but you cannot modify it anymore. Okay, so that's what blockchain means. And a few examples is the first blockchain is usually people call Bitcoin, and everybody is very familiar with this. And still, Bitcoin is dominating crypto today. So in this Bitcoin, and then the second example is Ethereum. The difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum is Bitcoin just give you the crypto, but Ethereum give you not only the crypto, but basically a platform. Or I can call Ethereum is programmable. In computer science word is you can write a program on top of it. Well, Ethereum, well, Bitcoin, not yet. People are looking at it right now. There are a few universities. But Ethereum is really a platform in which you can create your own token. So our project PPSwap is actually one of those projects that are on Ethereum. So essentially, we're going to create our own token, our own platform, and our own utility on top of this. The third example is Binance Smart Chain, which is very similar to Ethereum, except you have less gas fee, but also less secure too. So people actually take Ethereum more seriously than Binance, but there are other people who prefer Binance because they can get started without burning too much gas fee. All right. So, but why blockchain? Well, we already talked about that blockchain is something that, like history, is very hard to modify, and then make two things standing out. The first one is trust, because it's on a blockchain and nobody can change the program. Not like a website, people can change a website today and tomorrow. And then, how can I trust it? So this actually provides a very good foundation for the trust issue. When by trust, we mean trust between strangers. That I don't know you, you don't know me. How could we still engage in a transaction, in a business, and so on? And that blockchain make it possible, right? And right now, without blockchain, traditional one is actually the trust is one way. You think about it one way. Why? The website doesn't trust you, and you have to trust the website, correct? Very much. Okay, and so we are at the mercy of the website that we have to trust them and give them your credit card, and hopefully they are not going to overcharge it and all of those, right? And then the second one is so-called decentralization, meaning all the functionality, everything, do not rely on one single authority and on one single company. We are not saying centralization is bad. I think that's my position at least. But there are something that also good about decentralization. For example, with the decentralization, it's possible you create a project that do not rely on individual, even do not rely on a company. So for example, the PPSwap project we are doing right now, I was hoping after a few years, I don't need to manage it. Even not our founders. We just leave it there and it's still going to be working. They don't need our website. They don't need our database. If they don't like it, they can create their own website and their own project on top of it. And so that's the beauty of decentralization. In other words, it's owned by the community, by everyone, not owned by one single person or owned by one single company. So that's, I think, what's exciting to a new opportunity. So what's the advantage of crypto compared to a traditional one? First of all, of course, it's only one owner. You don't own two people own the same Bitcoin. Easy to transfer. It's anonymous, good or bad, and it's no double spending. You cannot spend the money twice, and it's decentralized. An example, we already talked about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the PP swap, which we call PPS. Then we are going to focus on non-fungible token today. So what is non-fungible token? Basically, all the previous crypto that we talked about so far is called fungible. The word fungible means exchangeable, meaning one Bitcoin and the other Bitcoin are exactly the same. There's no ID, they are just a number. Okay, so you don't differentiate from, it's like our dollar bill. I don't think every dollar bill have a unique number. Every dollar bill is the same. Okay, well, we do know we have different mintage. Of course, different mintage is different, but with the same mintage, every dollar bill is the same. Okay, but non-fungible token, on the other hand, is different. Every token, they are unique. Okay, in many cases, they are also unique in appearance. For example, the picture associated with NFT is different picture. But sometimes even they are the same. Even they are the same, they have different ID. So each NFT have a unique ID. So they are not exchangeable. So that's why we call it not fungible. And most people are familiar with the NFT that have a picture, but nowadays it could be also music, could be a 3D model, could be a game, could be a software, could be a piece of furniture in the virtual world. So it doesn't have to be just a picture that you call NFT. Okay, but there's from a marketing point of view, there's a big difference between crypto, the NFT and the NFT. Traditional crypto NFT can be traded in a market with AMM, stands for automated market maker. So in other words, you don't need to wait for a buyer. You can just go to the AMM or decentralized liquidity pool, and then you can just sell it. On the other hand, NFT is like selling a house. You have to wait for a buyer. If the buyer is not in place, you cannot sell it. Okay, so there's a slight difference from a marketing point of view. And here we have two examples of NFT market, OpenSea.io, which is the one I'm using right now. And then there's a second one just coming up called Looks Rare, probably very promising one as well. The second one is more like community driven. The first one is more like driven by a company. So example of NFT, the first one probably most of you have heard of it, is CryptoPunks, right? I mean, the price of CryptoPunks it's controversial. A lot of people say, why so high? Okay, I'm not going to get into that. As I said, I just want to focus on technical side today. And other people say, oh, this is not art. Why punk is so expensive? Okay, that's another different story. We can talk in another day. But this is a classic example, and the CryptoPunk in terms of how it started, how it's experimented. So the second example is called Wall Street Chats. I think this is a very interesting project in which people can buy one chat, which is one of these. Then you become a shareholder. In other words, all the money you buy is going to put it in a treasury in the account, and then as a community, you're going to vote. How are we going to spend money? And then the way the community is going to spend is basically through investment, collective investment. You can write a proposal, and you can vote a proposal to decide where we are going to invest money. And right now, the focus is only investing in crypto and NFT. So you can buy the money to buy like other NFT and other crypto, and the gain of the money is going to be shared by every single shareholder. So in this case, NFT is like a stock, okay? And then also, a third example is in Pool City, which is going to be coming up the multiverse. Right now, it's already in testing. Here, you can buy different kind of equipment, including actually even a supermarket, restaurant, motor, and a car, and which you can use in the multiverse. Okay, but more than that, this is also like early stock as well. For everything you buy over here, they have APY, annual. They have a return. Like some of them as high as like 200%. For example, this model over here, if you buy with the current price, then after 1 year, you are going to return double money back, assuming, of course, the price of the token is not going to change. But if the price of the token change, even to half, we're not going to lose money. But if the price of the token increase, then you actually earn more than double, but maybe triple or even more. Right? So, in summary, this is an NFT which allows you to earn annual interests and also to play in the multiverse as well. And then you can also rent it out in the multiverse, rent to another person who earn rental. I'm going to give you a few examples of NFT utility. The first one, of course, is NFT is art. Okay, when we say NFT is art, we doesn't mean that whoever make NFT he or she become an artist. That's not what we mean. NFT, in my understanding, is just a paper. Art is created by the artist. The artist can create art on the traditional paper or on a traditional canvas, but I can also create on the NFT, which is easier to exchange and easier to market. So you can consider NFT as a paper or as a marketing strategy. So that's a different story. The second one is NFT is music. So people are using NFT to, or again, as a package, as a marketing, or as even a good way to sell music because NFT is becoming a good way to make sure the copyright, right? It's not totally working yet, but I think it's getting close. Make it very hard for people to copy and steal and all of those. We still have dispute, but compared to without NFT, traditional way, and then this make it harder because we can have the blockchain, the NFT, they never forget. Like everything we do is recorded in the history. So even the law, the regulation is not in place, but the record is already in place. The third one is NFT is meme, and this is the meme that what do we mean by meme? Anything that popular, go viral, picture, text, whatever, joke. And then this is one of the meme that so very high right now. I show it to my wife. My wife said, "What? Just this picture, 76,000? Okay, well, that's just the society works right now. I mean, we can talk another day why this becomes so much. Personally, I can understand it because the guy or whoever buys this, maybe a company, might be individual. It's a good marketing strategy. He just spending the advertisement fee because he got a lot of exposure. Because when he buy this, and then he will just consider, hey, you know what? I'm just throwing this money away for advertisement, whatever I need to do. So I think you consider how much money people already spend on advertisement. This is just a way they spend on NFT by doing advertisement. And here's also NFT's gain item. People can buy kitty, people can buy horse. And in this case, for example, by the horse, people can actually race in the horse. And this is a horse that worth $1,000. So people can race, they can gamble. I don't know. I didn't play this one. I do purchase two of these, not $1,000, but just $40 to find out what's going on here. Of this, and then each horse have like black color, rarity, and all of those combinations decide the price of the horse as well. Any questions so far? Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. And here is so an example. Probably this is one thing that people don't quite understand well in terms of culture is people are using NACF as ID, just like driver license, except for anonymous ID. Right? For the first time in history, anonymity and ID come together. Traditionally, this is not possible. If you have ID, you are not anonymous anymore. You show your ID, you already exposed. And if you are anonymous, you have to hide your ID. But now, because of NFT, you actually can have both. You can stay anonymous, but you can still have ID, and people know who you are. I don't say who you really are, but I say it's still your ID. It's like second ID that unique, and it's very hard to steal it. I mean, it's harder than stealing idea of NFT is much harder than stealing one person's maybe driver's license or even passport, I would say, right? So, this guy, expert, he actually owned this CryptoPunk 8053, and this is verifiable. He cannot lie about it. You can easily verify from blockchain and see if it's true or not. And here's also NFT's membership card, which is following the previous example. Only when you own this NFT, if you go to website, you can click this button called Launch Component. So this Launch Component, the component is only accessible if you are a member. If not, you click it, it's not going to work, right? So only you already contain this, then you can get into it, write a proposal, propose it for it, write a proposal, vote for a proposal, and eventually receive dividends when it's not a company. When the DAO, people call DAO, basically DAO means the anonymous community. They're all the wallet together. That becomes a DAO. So you can receive the dividends from what earned by the DAO, or I can call anonymous company. NFT can also serve as digital assets. For example, you can buy a land from Decentraland right now. Decentralized is one of the top multiverse. They have 90,000 plots. I actually, in the beginning, I noticed this. At that time, only $3,000 for one land, and I was like shocked. I say, wait a minute, what are they doing? I thought this is only for kids, for high school students. I didn't buy that. I say, there's no way I'm going to pay for $3,000 just for this little dot over here on the screen. That's crazy, right? Look today, and keep company Samsung already purchased a plot over here, and they certainly will have their presence over here. Probably very soon in the future, you are going to have 3D multiverse, uh, their own Microsoft store, Apple store, maybe, Samsung store in this kind of a city. But if you think about it, it's actually you actually not a surprise. Why? Don't think this is don't think this is a plot or a leg. Think of this as a subdomain. Then you feel okay. Now I understand because domain, yeah, there are a lot of domain like millions of dollars, Israel.com or whatever. A lot of domain like insurance.com, very expensive domain. So if you think about domains, then you immediately understand why each land over here becomes so expensive because you know what? It's like eBay. If you have something land over here, you can open your business. You can have, so instead of people have to go to Google to search you, they don't need to. They just need to walk around over here. They will find your business. And NFT can also be used as a gift card. For example, over here, McDonald's actually release a gift card over here called a McRemeat. You can buy it and then you can eat it for 1 year. I believe I didn't get into the detail. And NFT can also become redeemable, meaning you can not only just everything digital, but can connect it to real whiskey, wine. So for here, every NFT is backed by a real wine. Okay, so you buy the NFT, you can redeem it with whiskey. Okay, so that's very interesting experiment as well. So I'm going to conclude today's presentation with the following question. I'm not going to answer any of them today because we want to move on to show you how we can make our own NFT. The first question is NFT the future or just a hack? And what is the challenge of NFT technically, socially, economically, and what are opportunities? Again, technically, for computer science, for example, economically and socially. All right. And it's a cultural revolution that might change our lifestyle. That we're going to stay more in multiverse, or it's going to be economic revolution that might change where we are going to put our money. For example, we just talk about people might buy the NFT and the money together. You can use the invest, and then the return can be shared by the community. Or it's just all the while in a new scheme. For example, community. We have been always creating community, but this NFT enable a new way of creating community. Collection. We always collect stamps. We always collect shoes. Is this just our psychological need that we have to collect something and own something in our book? Casinos. Do you want to go to a physical casino to play, or you want to, with an NFT card and you go to different room in the multiverse and then play a game in the digital office or in digital games. People have been playing games all the time and order game items. Do you want to sell it? Do you want to, people are talking about play to earn. Uh, Good or bad? Is there something that just a new way to play games? And then stocks, stocks, we know they are strong regulation, very high bar. By the time company go to the level of a stock, uh, it's going to be many years already. But good or bad, the idea of a stock might help a lot of projects, but also kill a lot of small projects because a lot of small projects, a lot of people like let's say high school students or college students, they don't know how to collect the money. They don't know how to move their startup to the level of getting this, make it an IPO, make it a stock. But if I do it through NFT, through crypto, maybe you can collect, if not million, maybe you can collect $20,000, or maybe $100,000. Then immediately you can jump up your startup company, and then who knows? Some of those ideas could be very creative, could be very innovative. If we rely on traditional stock-based money, or even people call the what do you call angel capital, maybe that's not easy, not possible. But this one, even we are nerds, maybe you're able to collect money very quickly and then do something about it. Okay, so that concludes my presentation. I'm going to take two questions maybe before we move on.
I guess my only question is, have you bought land in like Decentraland or Sandbox or anything?
I didn't buy because I missed the opportunity. So what I did is I buy one land. Actually, it's a small one from Polk City. In Polk City, I missed the first batch as well, but I caught the second one. The second one, there are three kind of things. Small one, which is for residential. In other words, I can more like apartment. And then the second one is business like. I purchased a small one apartment so I can invite my friends over. I spent like $3,000. That's sold within 2 hours actually.
Wow, that's cool though.
2 hours is gone. Yeah, because only 300 of them something.
I know. I looked at Sandbox and now it's going for like 1,200 minimum, and I was or 12,000. I was like, oof, that's so much.
And now, I mean, it's
Crazy.
crazy. Yeah. One more question. Okay, if not, I'm going to keep that one more question to later. Maybe you're going to come with the question. Are you able to see my screen right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show to you how we can create a piece. Well, suppose you have your picture already, but I'm not going to teach you how to do music, other more complicated stuff. Let's just do the picture one. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to OpenSea.io. Okay, and assuming you already have the wallet installed over here, MetaMask, and assuming we are using Polygon. So if you don't know how to set up a Polygon, Polygon is a second blockchain. The difference between Polygon and Ethereum is The Ethereum one gas fee is going to be very high right now, but the Polygon gas fee is very low, and even better, OpenSea pay for it. So basically, we don't have to pay, okay? Because the gas fee is so low, so OpenSea cover it. But of course, eventually we are the one who pay for it because they are going to charge the so-called tax. For every sale, they're going to charge 2.5% tax. So I think those tax will cover this kind of fee. So without further ado, you go to Google to search for set up MetaMask or Polygon, for example, and then you are able to see easily to see some. It's better you go to the official one like Polygon.technology, and then they will show you the information over the mainnet. The mainnet means it's the official one. Okay. They also have a testnet. Testnet is used for doing testing of your smart contract. We are going to do the official one. So all you need to do is fill out all this information by going here and click this and add network over here. So if you click all this and save this, then you're going to see this. So it's the same way we add all the others. Okay. So I think most of you already know this, but I just repeated myself. So you choose a Polygon over here. You go to OpenSea. So far so good. You go to OpenSea, and then there's a button over here called profile, which is the second one. For you, probably you're not going to see the icon. You're going to be just a blank icon. But I already changed the icon, so the profile icon is going to show up over here. If it doesn't, do one more thing. Just help yourself. Search for PB swap, whatever. Then this icon will show up. And then if you show up, you click the profile over here. Then sometimes it's going to pop out to ask you to connect to your wallet. Sometimes in my case, it's already connected, so it's simply going to go to the profile page. The profile page will contain all the NFT that you have, including those ones which are hidden, meaning people send an NFT to you, they will be hidden first unless you unhide it. All right. So I already have all the NFT on my collected. So let's get started. Step one. Once you get a profile over here, once you see this, you go to my collection. See that? So what is a collection? Collection is almost like a folder that you contain, or it's an album, I would say. It's an album or folder that you're going to put all your items together. And then once you go to collection, in my case, I already have a 3 collection. Okay, so inside each collection, for example, I have one for Polygon, I have one for Ethereum. Let's go to the Ethereum one, for example, so that you also get some experience. Over here, we have some sale. So you order, and for each item, there are 2 lines. The first line is the name of the collection. You can click it, go back to the collection, or the name of the item, which you name by yourself. And then all the other information, if you want to look at a particular item, you just click the second line. Then it's going to show up all the information of that NFT, including who own it, and including the name, and including favorites, the price, and all of those, as well as the history of the sale. Everything is recorded on the blockchain. And NFT is not just a picture; they also give you the additional information over here, which include a contract address and token ID. If you put these 2 information into a wallet, some of the wallet will show up in the wallet as well. So either you come to the website of OpenSea to look at your NFT, or you can look at your wallet, and if you put these 2 addresses into your wallet. Okay, so that's what a collection means. Collection. So in this case, these 2 collection is going to be have 10,000 PB swap. So before we create a collection, you need to decide a few parameters. So the first thing you're going to do is say create a collection, and then you're going to upload a logo. Okay, so this is another good logo, but you can create your logo, and then you can ignore this featured image. Featured image could be the best image you have, or the best item that you're going to have that show your exemplar work. And then you have the banner image. Usually the banner image, people put a lot of item over here, or you can show a very fancy background that show uh, the theme, I would say, the theme of your collection. Okay, so one of the most important thing you need to do is you need to give a very good name for the collection because that stands for the brand. It's all about the name. So you need to give a very catchy name for your name. So you can say, you know, I don't know. So I call the NFT Punk, and so but there might be other brand of NFT Pecan. So in my case, I add an NFT swap over here, right? Or even better, you can put them together. Some people say, let's say WACO Punk, right? You just want to create a punk that is going to share by all the Wayne State students, or I'm just giving you an example. Okay, and then this name is because of brand, and it's going to tell me is it unique or not. So this one is available. For the moment, you can ignore everything else. Then over here, you can give a description. The description probably could be a story, and one of the things you can say is, okay, we have 10,000 WECU punk. The supply is very important. How many will be good? And the number I have seen so far is either you have 10,000, you don't want to make too many, and then you have 8888, and people I have also seen 3333. So this number is important. You don't want to be too rare, and you don't want too many either, because if you only have like 100, well, good luck. I mean, how can you form a community with 100 people? I mean, that's not easy, or unless we already are famous. Like, let's say I'm already McDonald's, then selling 100 is not difficult. But if it's from scratch, you don't have brand yet, using 100 to create a brand is not easy. So this is something you can think about how many, and usually a good start is following good example of that. What other example supplies good already, and then you go from there, right? And then over here is you're going to select which blockchain, and the most important part is we're going to select Polygon. I think I will suggest you to do so because you don't have to worry about gas fee. And then on the Polygon, they have a so-called Ethereum for Polygon. This is the equivalence of Ethereum for Polygon is equal. One Ethereum on Polygon is equal to one Ethereum on Ethereum. Okay, so this is actually equivalence, not the real Ethereum. This is a Polygon Ethereum equivalent from the real Ethereum. And then over here you have a three choice. You can choose the middle one over here by default. So once you create it, it's going to say created, and by default you only have 0 item, 0 owner, no floor price. Floor price means that the lowest price that's sold in the past, I believe, 72 hours or something. And then what is the volume that traded so far? And you can look at activity, look at history. So once you do that, you are going to add item. Okay. And then you can select the first item, let's say this one. And then you can say WACO punk. Make sure you give a good number. Okay, let's say 001. And then the beauty of this is this. Usually, I would also suggest you whatever you name you're going to do, you're going to do a search first. You're going to search over here. So, for example, for our case, we do NFT Punk 027. Immediately I only have one conflict here. Another person is also called NFT Punk, and this is our NFT Pecan. So you want to pick a name that you avoid a conflict. That hopefully you search something, it's yours, right? So that your brand will stand out. So it's all about creating a brand over here. So you do this, then you can add a description, or you don't have to, because if the description is all the same, we already describe it in the description for collection. What I did, I just leave this out because I just want to save time. Creating 10,000 is really time killing. There are automated way to do this, but I didn't learn that. If you are curious, I can point you to the right direction. There are some people who are able to write a script and do all of these automatically. There's also a way of doing that. So you create it, and then it's created. Just check it out, and then immediately you can sell it. Okay, and you say 0.001. You can specify a price, and there are also more options. For example, you can ask people to keep bidding, or you can sell this to a particular person, give the ideal the wallet over here so that other people cannot buy it, only one buyer. But in general, I just choose the default one, and then I say complete listing, and then sign it. Everything you do, every transaction you do, you always need to assign a signature. Means it's performed by you and you only, so that other people cannot perform this. So in other words, this collection is you are the only owner. You are the only one who can add to this. So everything has to be authentic because it's verified by your wallet. Okay, so that complete our listing. So everybody, if you do a search right now, maybe you are able to find it. Let me just try this. W is U 001. Oh, I'm sorry. W is U. Yeah, you see, even W is U. We found it. W is U 001. I have good name, good brain, right? Maybe you can take it. Uh, so so that complete our doing this, and then you can cancel the listing. And keep in mind, if you forget everything, just start from my collection. So this is your starting point. Go back to my collection, and then you choose the collection over here. Okay, and then you can add items again. This button will show up when you do this. Let's do just one more very quickly. The second one. So WSU Punk 002. And then over here, by default, you're going to choose only one supply each because you want to make each one unique. But there are some people also choose like 100. Then these will be copied to 100 items instead of one. So, but I want to make each one unique, and that usually is good. I don't want to have the same thing for different items, the same picture. So, and then you say sell again, 0.001, and then complete it, and then sign this, and then sign, and then we are done, and then click this. And usually if you want to click, go back to the other one, usually I click over here, the name of the collection, because the moment you collect the name of the collection, the add item will come back, so you can iterate through this process. So that concludes my presentation. Questions?
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say thank you for doing this. Like, I really appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other people have any question?
No
Not
questions.
right now, no.
Thank you, though.
Okay. Either you can stick around and do it yourself, so I share your screen so I can watch you and make sure you can do it, or you can do it offline. It's up to you. I know all of you are busy for other things, especially Cody probably have to take care of other things as well. So it's up to you. I will stick around and be helpful if possible.
I was going to ask about how to claim the free NFT. I'm sorry.